So I did have a plan, and I did explain the plan. I said to you that we're going to be looking at converting it back to original. But look, last owner smoothed off the frame there. This bike can never be an original bike. So the plan is simple. Let's street fire it. I've got a great black rear fairing to go on there and a nice clean seat. Okay, that's a good start. I've got a great condition purple front mudguard that will polish up beautifully, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to I'm going to buff it and polish it, and then I'm going to black. So black, fresh seat, black, purple, and that's it. And then it's going to be this. I'm taking the second one off here because it doesn't do anything, and I'm going to switch to a single in the middle here. I'll chop this frame away, so we've only got this here like that. So you're gonna have a single. I want it to fold up a bit more. I want to be able to see it. I'm gonna look online in case there's a better one. It is a simple plug-in. Now I think the sender down here is not good, but I've got a spare on the other bike, so I'm gonna look at that and see if I can make one. I need a new speedo cable to get up to whatever speedo I choose, and then there's gonna be a nice Street Fighter that's fairly clean and functional. I'll drop the oil, I'll give it a service. Tyre is brand new on the front, tyre on the back is fine, although I might switch for the thicker one on the other one. And then we're going to build a nice Street Fighter. I'll take the housing off here and I'll give it a once over with black, because I'm doing some black on the tank and so on. So I think this is going to be a 2-week project, and it's going to look okay. It's going to look alright. Yeah, I'll have to drain the fuel next week. Let's check that that the key does everything. It will do. It was a functioning bike, wasn't it? I say that and it hasn't. Look. Oh, I don't want to bend the key. Let's see if it does the seat. Yeah, it does. What the hell? Oh, it's a spare injector unit of carb. That's interesting. It definitely doesn't need it. Cool. Wrapping up for today. I was just saying to Dan, you know what we haven't done ever, Dan? He's the most competitive person in the world. And I said, Dan, we haven't done go-karting. Because I have to admit, I do like beating Dan at everything. And I don't beat him at anything. I said, go-karting, and he goes, yeah. And I know, Dan, once you've got something in his head, it's over. So he said, let's go tonight. So I've booked it. So me, Rabjab, Danny, and Danny's partner are going go-karting tonight. So that'll be fun.
2,000 years later.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Super busy week for me. Ridiculously busy. I've been out already this morning on the KTM. Had to go to Heathrow and back. So good hour there, good hour back. CB200 is up and getting a lot of interest. What people can't work out or won't let themselves believe is why I'm giving up a project. And we're not even talking about people who watchers or people who know me. We're talking about strangers. They ask, why would you do this much work and then give up the project? It's simple, really. I've had enough of it. I haven't got the skills in bikes of this era. You've seen me with the Triumph. I can't balance carbs, properly from when they're standalone carbs from wires. I'm no good at it. So even though I feel like I've done the works, I've put new piston rings in, the carbs are clean and rebuilt, I just can't do the final pieces. And I think it's final. I think someone who knows these bikes would put air filters on. I think that's one key part of this. Some sort of proper air filters. I know I've got pods that I made, but I think they'd use ones that they know were more dialed in. And I think they would tune the carbs a touch and it would be fine. I really don't think there's much left to it. I've got it up for £1,250, which I think is a steal if you look at the parts. A running engine, painted frame that hasn't been chopped, side panels, I think £1,250 is a steal for that. But yeah, people just they're just almost hassling me really about the fact that it's a project that's gone so far yet being sold at the end. But that's it. My time's my time. You know, it's done. I'm done with it. CB125 is my next real project. I'm not going to touch that much today. I think I might paint the tank today, but I'm going to get the old tank out and have a look. I'm going to try some cutting compounds. I can't quite remember what it looked like, if I'm being honest. I have got paint, you know, undercoat, and I have got the proper 2K clear. It's the only one that really is petrol proof. All the ones that say petrol resistant, they're not. They don't last very long at all. Anytime you spill a touch of fuel on them, they absolutely ruin. Now I've got a nice mudguard that will polish up beautifully. It's kind of that same purpley colour. So let me pull out the CB125, CBR125 actually. Let me just see what the tank really is like, because I was a bit busy last week, so I'm a bit lost. So yeah, it's safe to say it needs painting. This panel comes off separately, that's easy. I might even leave that matte gloss matte, maybe, I'll see. I need to make sure I get in here because it's rusting a bit. If I remember rightly, the key was a bit sticky last week, so I need to sort that out a touch. Also, I need to find the key. It might actually be at home. Alright, I think I've got to get this tank off and drained and black. It's got to go black. Sadly, it's got some dings and dents here and there, so it's not going to look great no matter what, but it can look a touch better. All this wiring eventually I'll touch, nip up and hide in here. It has to go in there. These double speedos I don't like, but look what I've got. I think it's much better. It's a kind of lexmoto style one, Sinis, whatever you want to call it, Chinese. And I just prefer the mounting and the style. Look, it's going to go in there. I'll trim up the edges of that bracket, and it's pointing up. I really think it will change the dynamics of the bike, so it's going to go. I might even chop off all of these heads and mount it. It's got its 2 bolts here, look. I might just mount it more directly in. I'll work it out, but it'll go in there somewhere. Yeah, and then normal rounds light on there, the same round light, which is good. So we've got something to work with here. Let me get this seat off. This seat's terrible. I have a another seat that actually works much better, and I've got a nice rear panel. I'd like to get the rear panel on today because it's in good condition and polished. It's here. I say polished. I haven't polished it, but when I polish it, it will look so much better. At the moment, again, this hand painted silliness. That's going to make the bike look more loved and cared for. Actually, I will give this a quick clean and polish. Actually, while it's off the bike, it's probably easier. Oh, I need to get more. Oh look, it was a nice red underneath. Needs greasing big time. What? What? Nah. It's got that same bloody neon set like the last one had. What? The red was lovely. That was better. Look, bit of grease. Makes such a difference. You don't actually need to turn it. Put it down. Silly. People kind of forget the basics. I just want to clarify what I did there and include the mistake. I cleaned the tank first with a simple degreaser, washing up liquid and water. Okay. Then I went straight to wet 1500, which is wrong. Then I moved to a green scuff pad that you saw, green scuff pad just to scuff the paint. Then I used 1500 dry, which did scuff it, and now I've cleaned over the top again. Now before I do any paint on here, I'll be using a brake cleaner to make sure there's no residues on it at all. And I'm going to hang it somewhere, probably, I'll find somewhere, but I'm going to hang it somewhere before doing the spraying. So it's, it's kind of okay. It is not going to be, this is not a professional spray job, guys. This is ridiculous, really. You can't be at home doing this to an extent. But I'm going to make it look better. It's going to have a nice matte under and a proper protected two-coat clear on top that is fuel resistant. So I'm definitely going to make it look better, but it's not going to be perfect. So this is a way of spending some time and 30 quid on your bike and making it look better. It's not a way of making it look showroom perfect. I just want to be extremely clear. I need to get it up, because sometimes I struggle, and then brake cleaner, let that settle, take the fuel cap off. It wouldn't hurt to put the fuel cap black, but it looks more professional if it stays its colour. And then I'll block the hole with some masking tape or equivalent, whatever you've got, and then we'll get some base coats on, just matte black, and then we'll give that half an hour to dry, and then we'll start layering on the 2K clear. Once you've popped the 2K clear, oh, where am I? It's down there. Where is it? Down there. And once you've popped it, you have to use it. So I'll get the whole can on within 2 hours today, and we'll have the whole can protecting the tank. So that's good. And then it's going to set overnight from a kind of immediate point of view, set overnight. And then it's actually going to set all week. Okay, so it's going to set in the garage all week before we do any more with this bike. It's always very risky at this stage. If you want to do anything now in the tank, now's the time to do it. So I'm going to check the air filter now when this tank's off, because it makes sense. You'd be silly not to. And if anything else is needed under that tank, now's the time I want to do it, because I don't want to mess taking the tank on and off after it's been painted. That's where things are likely to go wrong. And while the tank's up and I'm messing around with 15-minute intervals, I'll be polishing away at this here, and I'll be chucking on some of that stuff to see what it does to my car.